Hello friends, welcome back to Physio eLearn. I am Dr. Varun Jaiswal, and in this video we are going to discuss about spirometry, which is one of the basic pulmonary function test. So we are going to discuss what are the different patterns of pulmonary function spirometry and how to identify those patterns from the spirometry report and example of each spirometry pattern. So please watch this video till the end, and if you like it, please share it with your friends also. So let's get started. So spirometry is the term given to the basic lung function test that measures the air that is expired and inspired. So it basically measures the air which is moving in and out from the lung. So it doesn't measure the lung which is measures the air which is static inside the lung, that is your residual volume. Okay, so it measures the air or the function which when the air goes in and out from the lungs. So it is the kind of a dynamic test. Okay, so there are three basic related measurements. What the spirometry measures is the volume of the air and the time taken by the air, and also the flow rate of the air. So these are the three basic related measurements which has been measured by spirometry, that is the volume of the air, the time taken by the movement of the air, and the flow rate of the air. So during the inspiration and expiration. Now the spirometry is an objective, non-invasive, so there is no invasive procedure required. It is sensitive to early change. That means even if the mild disease happens in the lungs, then it can detect that change. So it is sensitive to early change, and it is reproducible. Reproducible means if you perform a test today and if you perform a test again tomorrow on the same patient, the results are going to be the same. So it is reproducible, it is sensitive to early change as it detects the mildest disease in the airways or the lungs. It is non-invasive, it is so no invasive procedure is required, and it is an objective test. So this was in short about the spirometry. Now spirometry measures include the following. The first most important measure what is measured by a spirometry is the FEV1. So what is FEV1? FEV1 is the forced expiratory volume 1, that is the amount of air which has been expired in the first second of the expiration. That is so the amount of air when the patient starts expiration, the amount of air which is expired or the volume of air which is expired in the first second of expiration, that is termed is as forced expiratory volume 1. Okay, the second thing is the forced vital capacity, the maximum amount of air that can be exhaled when blowing out as fast as possible. So when the patient try to blow out the air or expire as fast as possible, the amount of air which the patient expires is known as forced vital capacity. Then there is a vital capacity, the maximum amount of air that the person can expire or exhale from the lungs after the maximum inspiration. Okay, so first the patient will take an inspiration and then he will exhale. So maximum amount of inspiration plus the maximum amount of exhalation. So the sum of these two is known as vital capacity. And the fourth is of course the ratio of FEV1 by FVC. So it is FEV1 by FVC ratio. So FEV1, FVC, vital capacity, and FEV1 by FVC ratio. But while interpreting the spirometry report, we are going to concentrate more on FEV1, FVC, and FEV1 by FVC ratio. These three parameters are very important. Okay. Now interpreting spirometry, the normal lung function results obtained from the lung function test have no meaning unless they are compared against the reference value or predicted values. So there are predicted values for every individual. Okay, and it has been already fed in the software of the machine, the spirometry machine. Okay, so the technician who is performing the spirometry test, he has to enter the age, the gender, the height, the race of the individual for whom the test has been performed, and the software will automatically calculate the reference value for that particular patient. So you have to compare with the performed values and the reference values. So the reference value is must. Okay, that's why they are saying the results obtained from the lung function test have no meaning unless they are compared against the reference value or the predicted value. Okay, so the predicted value will be calculated by the software once you enter the height, gender, race, age of the patient. Okay, so before going to the interpretation, we should also know what are the different volumes and capacities of the lung. So okay, so tidal volume, you all know, normal inspiration and expiration is known as tidal volume, and it is around 500 ml. We all know that. Okay, then after normal tidal inspiration, okay, that it will start from here, and the amount of inspiration what you can take forcefully after the normal tidal inspiration is known as inspiratory reserve volume. So you, once you add the inspiratory reserve volume and the tidal inspiration, it is known as inspiratory capacity. It is known as inspiratory capacity. Okay, so normal tidal inspiration, after that forceful inspiration, okay, that is known as inspiratory reserve volume. Okay, it's known as inspiratory reserve volume, and once you add the normal tidal inspiration to inspiratory reserve volume, it is known as inspiratory capacity. Remember, the capacity is always the sum of two volumes. Okay, similarly the normal tidal expiration and an amount of air that can be expired forcefully or voluntarily after the normal tidal expiration is known as expiratory reserve volume. Okay, so this is the expiratory reserve volume, and the sum of expiratory reserve volume, tidal volume and inspiratory reserve volume is known as vital capacity. Okay, okay, and after the expiratory reserve volume, whatever is left inside the lung is residual volume. Also, the expiratory reserve volume plus the residual volume, it makes the functional residual capacity. This also you should remember. What is the functional residual capacity? It is the residual volume plus the expiratory reserve volume. Okay, and the entire thing, right from the inspiratory reserve volume to tidal volume and expiratory reserve volume and residual volume, it is total lung capacity. Okay, so you should remember this basic terminologies. Okay. So normal spirometry patterns, normally the spirometry patterns, they have normal, obstructive pattern, restrictive pattern and mixed obstructive and restrictive pattern. Okay, so let's see what you can see in an obstructive pattern. So the hallmark of an obstructive pattern is reduced FEV1. Okay, no, it is reduced FEV1, right, and reduced FEV1 by FVC ratio. Okay, so first thing what you will see in obstructive pattern is FEV1. Second thing what you will see is normal or reduced FVC. FVC will be reduced or it may be normal, and if it is reduced, it will be slightly reduced, not markedly reduced like FEV1. Okay, and then it will be a reduced FEV1 by FVC ratio. So the hallmark for obstructive pattern is reduced FEV1 and reduced FEV1 by FVC ratio. Also, there is classification of obstruction for mild, moderate, severe and very severe. If FEV1 is around 100 to 8 reduced, but it is more than 80% of the predicted FEV1, then it is mild obstruction, and if it is between 50 to 79% of the predicted FEV1, it is moderate FEV1, and if it is between 30 to 49% of predicted FEV1, then it's severe, and if it is less than 30% of the predicted FEV1, it is very severe. So if the performed FEV1 is between, it is more than 100, or if it is less more than 80%, okay, but reduced, more than 80% but reduced performed FEV1, then it is mild, and if it is performed FEV1 is between 50 to 79% of predicted FEV1, then it is moderate. If it is between 30 to 49%, it is severe, and if it is less than 30%, it is very severe. So this is the classification of obstructive condition. Okay, based on FEV1. Restrictive pattern. So as we have discussed, the hallmark of obstructive pattern was reduced FEV1 and FVC ratio, FEV1 by FVC ratio. So now the hallmark of restrictive condition is reduced FVC and normal FEV1 by FVC ratio. Okay, so in restrictive condition, FVC will be reduced and FEV1 by FVC ratio will be normal. Whereas in obstructive condition, the FEV1 is reduced and FEV1 by FVC ratio is also reduced. But in restrictive condition, FVC will be reduced and FEV1 by FVC ratio will be normal. Okay. Restrictive pattern mixed pattern, that is mixed obstructive and restrictive. Okay, so now FEV1, you have to remember this mnemonic 80-80-70%. Okay, so in mixed pattern, that is obstructive and restrictive, if the FEV1 is less than 80%, FVC is again less than 80%, and FEV1 by FVC ratio is less than 70%, then you can say that it is a restrictive and obstructive mixed pattern. Okay, so in mixed pattern, remember 80%, 80% and 70% mnemonic. So if you see in this report, the first report, you see FVC. Okay, FVC is 84% of the predicted. Okay, FVC is reduced but slightly reduced. FEV1 you see 65%, it is markedly reduced. FVC if you see, okay, FVC if you see 84%, it is reduced but not markedly reduced. But if you see FEV1, it is 65%, it is markedly reduced. And FEV1 by FVC ratio is also reduced, that is 77%. So this is typical obstructive pattern where you will see reduction in FEV1 and reduction in FEV1 by FVC ratio. Okay, you will see reduction in FEV1 and FEV1 by FVC ratio. Okay, this is a typical obstructive pattern. Okay, FVC is reduced but it is not markedly reduced as compared to the FEV1. Okay, the second report is restrictive pattern. So if you see here the FVC, okay, if you see the FVC, okay, FVC is 28% of the percent predicted. So if you see the performed is 0.90, the predicted is 3.19, and the percent predicted, okay, is 28%. Okay, so FVC is markedly reduced. FEV1 is also reduced. Okay, but if you see FEV1 by FVC ratio is preserved. If you see FEV1 by FVC ratio is preserved. Okay, so this is again, as we have discussed, the hallmark for restrictive condition is reduction in FVC, reduction in FEV1 and preserved FEV1 by FVC ratio. Had it been a mixed report, that is mixed obstructive and mixed restrictive, then if you remember the mnemonic is 80%, 80% and 70%. So this FEV1 by FVC ratio should have been less than 70% for to be called it as mixed pattern. Okay. Okay. Now one more thing is the bronchodilator reversibility test. Okay. So this has been performed when the patient they want to rule out bronchial asthma disease, or they want to diagnose bronchial asthma disease. So what you can see over here is, okay, FVC is percent predicted 114, so FVC is normal. Okay, then FEV1 is 75%, so it is reduced. FEV1 by FVC ratio is 65%, so it is also reduced. So typical obstructive pattern. Okay, so this is the performed values, this is the predicted values, and these are the percent predicted. Okay, so this is a typical obstructive pattern. And what they do after performing the spirometry, they will give a short acting bronchodilator, and after giving a short acting bronchodilator, they are going to perform they will perform spirometry again. So if you see here again, the percent predicted FVC has improved 123%. FEV1 is grossly improved, okay, from 75% to 105%. So there is an improvement in 40%. In FEV1 by FVC ratio is also improved from 65% to 86%. So for us to say that reversibility test positive, then there has to be an increase in more than 12%, but what we can see here is there is improvement in 40%. So definitely the reversibility test is positive. So this patient is suffering from bronchial asthma, you can say. If hadn't been the difference is less than 12%, then the bronchodilator reversibility test is negative and there is no asthmatic component in the patient's lung. Okay, so we have discussed about obstructive pattern. Obstructive pattern will have reduction in FEV1 and also reduction in FEV1 by FVC ratio. FVC will be reduced but not markedly reduced. In restrictive pattern, there will be grossly reduction in FVC, okay, and FEV1 will be slightly will be reduced, and FEV1 by FVC ratio will be preserved, okay. And in mixed, that is restrictive and obstructive pattern, the mnemonic is 80-80-70%. So FEV1 will be less than 80%, FVC will be less than 80%, and FEV1 by FVC ratio will be less than 70%. So I hope if you apply these basic principles, it will be very easy for you to interpret the spirometry report. So if you like this video, kindly like my channel and also share this video to the maximum students, so all of them can get benefit out of this. Okay, so see you soon with the next video. Thank you so much.